The people who are doing this constitution, who are serious constitutional lawyers and who have you, the James Orengos, the people like the MP for Kisumu, my governor for Kisumu, Anyang' Nyong'o. These people, at first they became senators. Kiraito Murungi.
Yes.
At first, they became senators, thinking that Senate was the most powerful. And they're the ones who had actually constructed it to be powerful.
Yeah,
then what happened? Everybody went to become a governor. Why? It's because they even didn't understand their own constitution themselves. Our finance minister would be a very serious finance minister in a system that works. But not this system. Not a system that is an extractive system. This is a system to extract. This is a system whereby wewe ukiingiza mkono kwa mfuko yako anaingiza tatu kwa mfuko yako. This country just became something else. In that parliament, we don't remember the last time somebody has ever been killed in that parliament. We had some issues here and there, MPs wakikimbizana 1, 2, 3. But nothing like that. Where you are shooting the owners of the country. You are shooting at the shareholders. Maraga, I would, yes and no, but I'm thinking that he should not be working with those people. If he works with those people, he's one of them. And that is one thing we need to understand.
Great to see you. Hello there and welcome to Herman Manyora's YouTube channel. My name is Jadiel, Kabiro. It's always a pleasure to have you joining us for these conversations that we hope will help our political leaders in making better policy and political decisions. These conversations, of course, come to you truthfully from people that believe. We try to bring people that believe in Kenya can actually become better. Today I'm with Nicholas Oyoo. He's the Secretary General of the FreeKenya movement. He's going to tell me about what is happening in the country, the state of the nation, what the Free Kenya movement is all about, and of course how we can get to a Kenya where everything seems to work. I know I've been told in our work, but I don't know if Kenya can work. Great to see you. How are you doing, Mr. Nicholas? It's a pleasure to have you around.
Thank you, Yeah.
You are the Secretary General of the Free Kenya movement. What is it about before we even talk about the state of the nation?
Yeah, Free Kenya movement started in 2018. The VAT bill. So we keep telling people that this issue of 2024 actually started in 2018 when there was a VAT bill and we went to parliament. We went around parliament trying to convince those MPs and they told us we are going to support. Yeah, you people, you know, you are our employers. Then they got in there and something just happened there. And they just, we remember the question of the eyes have it. When the nose were like, no, and then the eyes were, aye, and then the eyes have it.
Yes.
So we are like, if these people cannot listen to Kenyans, then we must go to the employer. And that is how we came up with the Free Kenya initiative. And we said we are going to create a popular initiative to bring the people to discuss about this country. Even then, we knew that it must be a discussion about the people. Because these people that we had elected were not serving Kenyans. They were serving someone else. So we are asking ourselves, kama mimi nakulipa pesa, kama mimi ndio niliamka asubuhi kukupigia kura. And then when I ask you to do something, you can't hear. You can't listen to me. Try that in a matatu here. Ati wewe ni dereva ukatae kusikiza mwenye gari. Utashuka katikati ya barabara. That is what we must talk about in this country.
How did we get here? Before, I know there's a popular initiative that I have it in front of me. We're going to talk about that, what it's about. But how did we get here? You know, I was telling you earlier, I saw this burial of a 12-year-old girl and
it's very unfortunate. Rest in peace.
Mourning, and you ask yourself, 100 people dead over the past year, and it seems like the government is giving us its death.
I think you're even conservative. I don't think it's 100. I don't think it's 100, but that is always going to be a discussion here. It's very unfortunate. This thing, the actual issue that started 2023, the first finance bill of this administration. And at that point, Kenyans were asking, tutafanya aje, how do we deal with this issue? And there was a lot of questions about taxes and everything. And so people started to discuss. And you know what happened? This regime started attacking, quote unquote, the Gen Zs. Because the Gen Zs were people who were dancing in their places and TikTok and what have you and having fun out there, and we don't care about these issues here. So in 2023, you find that what you're doing online now is going to be taxed. And the Gen Z started paying attention. So since 2023, come to 2024, they were scared now. Wamegongwa, ni kama umegongwa kidogo. Now you realize, something is going on here. I need to pay
attention.
So they started paying attention to Kenyan issues. And you know, with the TikToks and what have you, they have algorithms. The moment you start looking at something, they begin to, so you can get that information.
Yes.
So by the time it was reaching 2024 finance bill, they were ready. They had even looked at the bill, analyzed it, changed it, translated it into all the languages that you can imagine, and now they really understood what it was saying. So they came out to have a dialogue. That was the intention, that we are going to have a dialogue with our leaders and we are going to solve this matter. It was just a matter of a simple twende nje tuonyeshe ya kwamba hatupendi hii kitu, and then we are going to have a discussion. Shock on us. This country just became something else. In that parliament, we don't remember the last time somebody has ever been killed in that parliament. We had some issues here and there, MPs wakikimbizana 1, 2, 3. But nothing like that, where you are shooting the owners of the country. You are shooting at the shareholders. Yeah, that is what happened.
And now,
so it's very unfortunate. Yeah.
And then you ask yourself, Baba man comes and says, you know, I'm with these people. We have this 10-point agenda. ODM is going to work with Kenya Kwanza. Things don't change. He comes again and says, we need this intergenerational conclave. He says, this is the best way forward because we cannot have people dying again and again and again. And then you listen to Rigathi Gachagua on the other side who says, how can we talk with a pathological liar? Let me quote him. Do you think this would be the end of protests if Kenyans sit down and listen to Baba man?
I agree with Baba on one thing, that we need a dialogue. But it's not going to be his dialogue. It's not going to be the elite's dialogue. As we are saying, this dialogue must be the people's dialogue. That is why we have a referendum. A referendum in our arrangement of it,
yes,
in this constitution,
yes,
is where the people now decide to look at themselves and come and have a discussion. So a referendum is called to order by 1 million people putting signatures together. So we are saying that, okay, we've been demonstrating on the streets. Probably it is now time to go and demonstrate using the pen and the signature. Because we have to change things one way or the other. In the streets, we have not seen those changes coming in. In fact, in June 25th, following that unfortunate incident,
yes,
it was like now we are going to have this engagement.
Yes.
And the cabinet has been fired, finance bill imeanguka chini. So now, yes, we are going to have this engagement.
Yes.
Then shock on people. Ile cabinet inarudishwa wakirushwa mahali kando kando, and then Baba man gets in there. Now you begin to wonder. So why was he even angewafaya? Si angewabadilisha tu viti na ite Baba.
Alisema is bringing experts, you know, and you wonder, these are the same people Kenyans did not want. Kenyans wanted technocrats. Kenyans wanted people who can work, who can deliver services. And then now we are getting to this conversation again about dialogue. Should this happen or not?
You know, the people that he called experts, it is true they may be people who could understand to do something. Our finance minister would be a very serious finance minister in a system that works. But not this system. Not a system that is an extractive system. This is a system to extract. This is a system whereby ukiingiza mkono kwa mfuko yako naingiza 3 kwa mfuko yako. So we cannot operate in a system that has that kind of a thing, because the motivation behind it is for them to extract from you. Because you see, look at the coffee you're taking here. You get it is coming from coffee, you get taxed. You get it is water, somehow kuna tax nini kwa maji. Kama umeweka sugar, kuna tax iko huko. Kama umeweka maziwa, kuna tax iko huko. And then the entire package hiyo, hata hiyo cup ulinunua kuna tax.
Yes.
By the time you take this coffee, 80%, 95%, 85% ni ya serikali.
Yes.
So now, how do you operate in that system?
For this conversation to work, because you said we need to actually have a dialogue. This is the Free Kenya Popular Initiative, where 1, you'd like a referendum, 2, abolish all taxes on basic and essential commodities, including petrol, diesel, and kerosene, and B, restructure the state and system of governance to ensure efficient and effective use of national resources and respect for the voice of the people. How do you plan to bring this about?
Yeah, we have been out there talking to people. It's only that resources have been thin on us. Some of us are regular people who try one thing or the other. You throw a few 100 shillings ndio ukimbie mahali pale na inakuwa shida. You can't even buy somebody coffee sometimes. You can see how coffee is expensive in this country. So you get to a situation like that. But the first question, abolish taxes on basic and essential commodities, was basically inspired by the VAT issue that came up in 2018. And when we tried to convince those MPs that hii kitu italeta shida, because the entire economy runs on petrol, kerosene and diesel, they were like, no, we have to report to our people. The IMF and the World Bank wants their money. So we must listen to them. They don't vote in this country. We are the voters in this country. So we said now we need to go and organize. And if you look at that first question, it's about Article 43 of the Constitution. Article 43 has certain things that should be available to Kenyans. So we are saying that those things, and we even, in 2023, we even gave a petition to Parliament on those issues, about 15 items that we feel must not be taxed. So these items are food items, water, electricity, things like sanitary pads, things like maybe unga, those things. So those things we are saying, as long as you're taxing them, then you are basically stopping a Kenyan from achieving Article 43. If you have refused to give them Article 43, let them then look for it by themselves. So that is the first question there. And when you abolish taxes, there are advantages you are going to get into. The first advantage is that once you do away with petrol, kerosene and diesel, the issue of production, cost of production, will go down. And then that is industries coming up. So when the industries begin to sprout, then now you hire people. Because industries, you have to, you're not the one who is doing it. Somebody has to do some things.
Job creation.
Job creation. So that comes in. The second issue is that you find yourself, like if you drop somewhere, badala ya ulipe 100 umelipa 70 ama umelipa 60. So you have the rest of the money. Now you can actually buy those two things to mtura, to nini.
Disposable income you
so
have.
That means that the grassroots economy will now begin to work. So those are the things, advantages that you get. You don't make money by overtaxing. You make money by allowing people to grow themselves so that you can get taxes from that. And that is the essence of that. The second issue on restructure the state and system of governance is about us coming together and saying that this constitution, there's a few issues here and there that we must look at to ensure that it works. Because as we said, this system is not working. It's like a system, ile inaitwanga program. When a program has a problem, you have to go to the code and look at where is this problem coming. So this is what we are saying. As a constitution is like a program. So we want to look at this program and say, these certain things must work for us. Now, we had a conversation with the Senator Okiya Mtata. And some of the things that you get that we realized, shocking. There's no way you're going to do an election in this country which is going to be accurate and neutral.
No way.
There's no one who can be neutral. Neutrality means a machine. Neutrality is not you and me.
Yes.
Even when you look at me, even a pastor or a father who have you, there is something inside you that you're thinking. There's something in your mind, even when you're not saying it, even when you're not expressing it. So there's no neutrality. The only neutral thing that can happen, and then this constitution must have said, is we need a machine kind of election. We need a digital election. You cannot have a situation where you can't do a referendum, for instance, very quickly because somebody tells you that, you go to look at those signatures. If it's digitized, ni haraka. You get the signatures and very quickly somebody checks and says, hii imeingia ama haijaingia.
Yes.
So we realize those things. We also realize that, like the finance, we have the treasury and the finance ministry. The treasury has been put inside the finance ministry. So in this constitution, the demand was that you form the treasury as a standalone. So these are some of the things we are saying that we must deal with.
Some would argue the constitution is okay. It is just people to follow the constitution. Would you say that is the case? But because you'd hear Gen Zs don't have a leader. They have their constitution. And they just hope and want their leaders to follow the constitution. There is no need to restructure, as you put it, the state and system of governance.
I'll tell you what happened with this constitution. Naivasha, you know, the Gen Zs are younger. They should go and look for Naivasha and the Katiba, and they realize huko ndio Katiba ilienda kubadilishwa. There was Kilifi draft, there was Naivasha draft, there was the Bomas draft. The Bomas draft was the one most of us were after. But then after the Bomas draft, we went into Kilifi, Wako draft, and then Naivasha. Naivasha is where now this constitution was actually worked out. So you realize something, and I'll shock you here. The people who are doing this constitution, who are serious constitutional lawyers and who have you, the James Orengos, the people like the MP for Kisumu, my governor for Kisumu, Anyang' Nyong'o. These people, at first they became senators. Kiraito Murungi.
Yes.
At first, they became senators, thinking that Senate was the most powerful. And they're the ones who had actually constructed it to be powerful.
Yeah,
then what happened? Everybody went to become a governor. Why? It's because they even didn't understand their own constitution themselves. That is a shock for us. So when you're saying that this constitution is... kuna mahali lazima tuangalie, kuna vitu zile ziliwekwa pale, which are not really... ni kama skurua ijafunga mzuri.
They went for Senate mzuri, thinking
that was going to be the powerful one. And look at them, there are so many of them. And these are constitutional lawyers, my friend. Hawa ni wale wakisimama hapa mimi siongei. Yeah, but they went for what? Senate.
The second part of this second question, you talked about to ensure efficient and effective use of national resources. How do you plan to do that? Because is it now, this is just a question of leadership, is it?
Yeah, this is a question of leadership and restructuring issues in the state, in the constitution. The first thing that we did is that we used Article 257.3. 257.3 because we are saying, let's first of all have a general question. So when you talk about that conclave, that for us we are going to have a convention.
Yes.
We are going to call it a people's convention. So in Article 257.3, those are parameters. I mean, in that B question, those are parameters. So there are two parameters here. Restructure the state on system of governance to make it effective and efficient use of national resources.
Yep.
That's parameter one.
Okay.
So when we sit in that people's convention, ukileta kitu ile ingi kwa hiyo mahali, hiyo hatuchukui, because even IBC will have right to say hii amku itisha signatures vizuri. And then the second issue there is respect for the voice of the people.
Okay.
So those two are the anchors. Those are what you have to bring. Ukileta hiyo natuambia, how does it respect the voice of the people? How does it create the question of effective and efficient use of national resources? So we have isolated a few issues so far, because this kind of a referendum, you can't actually have a draft, a draft bill. I mean, you can't have a bill. You're going to have a draft bill, because people will come to the convention, and then now you finalize the bill, because everybody now has a say. But they have to come under those parameters we've said. There are three parameters, because those two, and then one that is abolishing taxes on basic and essential. That one we have already almost closed, but it's a matter of this discussion of the issues that are going to be there. That is going to be put in Schedule 7 and Article 25E. So now, if you look at those issues that we have isolated, they are, first of all, we are talking about representative reform. We are saying that we can't have a situation where the youth cannot be elected directly, the women cannot be elected directly, PWDs cannot be elected directly. So we are saying that from the counties, we are going to elect women, youth, and persons with disability from each county going to parliament, and then there's going to be male and female equal numbers from each counties. So if you say Nairobi has 17 constituencies, you may elect 6 male and 6 female, and then you have those three. The first of all, it is the male and female, what you call the PWDs and youth, as a ticket that is one ticket. And that ticket must be 30 years and below. Because by the time you serve 5 years, you end up at 35. You're still a youth. At the same time, another must be a qualified, certified PWD. So those two come together. The third person is a minority. And we are talking about three minorities here. We are talking about an elder. We are talking about a person who is maybe these professions that you have not seen in parliament. There are people who don't get to parliament because of their professions and what have you. And we are talking about a community minority. If you are a Digo and you happen to be here in Nairobi, maybe namba yenyu iko chini sana, so you can run for that seat.
Yes.
But that is one seat being contested by those three people.
So do we designate a constituency? What do you mean? Or do you come up with a seat like that one of a women representative?
Yeah, it is like a women representative. Actually, it's women representative that we have now converted
Yes.
to be everybody representative.
All right.
So that what happens in the county, like now Nairobi, you elect those three first of all, and then you elect an equal number of males against each other. So all the males are going to be fighting for that seat. Even the youth who is 30 can still fight for that seat because he's male. And then the females also. So you have 6 of them running, and 6 will be elected in Nairobi, and 6 will be elected women. So those become 12. And then you add those 3. So you have 15 MPs from Nairobi.
Do we designate constituencies for male and female? Is this the
No.
case?
It is the entire it is the entire county that we use to get the male in the same county, Nairobi, female in Nairobi, and then now the youth and the
PWD
Yeah.
and women.
Yeah, so if you go to the MCAs, we do it from the constituencies. So every constituency elects 5 people. That is going to be 1 male, 1 female, and those 3 that you have talked about. So you have 5. So we are going to have a situation where there is no nomination you need. There is no question of you women not being 2/3
Yes.
because you are going to have them equal as men, unless of course minority effect kidogo, but haita wachana sana. So that is how we propose that every person now gets to be elected directly. So you don't have nominated seats. There is a lot of questions we have seen with nominations. Some people don't, it's probably you take away your mind and you become...
Yeah. we know the question about. But the question is, even if you change the constitution through popular initiative and this referendum, will things work? Because some would say, before we talk about all these things, Ruto must go. Raila says Ruto must go, then what? Will things work even if you take this referendum and we implement and we have a perfect constitution? Will things work?
A perfect constitution is not a perfect in the sense that on paper. It actually has to be perfect in working. And that is what we are hoping, that changing the constitution will help us. You change it looking at what it's supposed to do. You build a car and you want to go to Kisumu. Hiyo gari yako kama yezi pita nini 2-3, then you can't get to Kisumu. So you must build the... Umefurahi umekaa kwa gari lakini haiwezi kufikisha mahali unataka kwenda. So we must look at it and see that the changes you are bringing are actually working. You see, the question here is, like now we want to remove the government, for instance. In other countries, there is routes to do that. In our constitution, as I told you, it was a Naivasha compromise. So when they were there, they were like, hatuwezi tolewa na wananchi. Wananchi were not in that room. It was the MPs at that time, by the way. Even the Senate was weak because the MPs were there. Unajua walikuwa wanajitetea. And somehow the people who were supposed to have pushed for the Senate to be strong, so they go for it, didn't even realize that they are actually creating strong governors, weak senators. You get that kind of thing. Yes. So we are saying that part of the issues are also that people must participate. So the people to participate, we are talking about something that we are calling the people's government. Now this people's government is another structure that we are bringing, which is going to be everything that you do. If you are in position of power, you must take it to the people, and it is the people who are going to look at it, and they bring you back a report. And that report will have enforcement. If 70% have refused that issue, it dies a natural death. If 50% have refused and 50% have agreed with it, then you are supposed to go and look at what they said and take it upwards, then you can implement. So those are some of the things you are saying. That if you have that kind of a system, whereby, for instance, every budget must go through there, all the budgeting issues, there is policies that we do. Policies come from the ministries, departments, and agencies. So those ministries, departments, and agencies can give you a policy. Like now you can hear NTSA comes here and creates a policy that matatu zisipite hapa. You have to bring that to the people before you put it there, because some of these policies zinapitia huko mlango ya nyuma. So you just realize kitu inaendelea and you didn't know where it started. There is a question of legislations, both in the county and the National Assembly. They all have to come through this people's government. And then there is use of resources. If you're spending resources in a project that more than 50% belongs to the people of Kenya, then it, public means, then it must come there. So that means something. It means that tumeingia kwa nyumba, ile iko na mende na dudu na nini, na ukiwasha stima hivi, you know what happens. Everything disappears. That's how corruption will disappear. Because now it's going to be something that has come to the people. You're not going to hide behind some corners there. Ati kapaka kamejificha pale kanini, no.
So it's the people's government to create these checks and balances that have been missing in the country.
Exactly. So we are saying that the people, you should come for this conversation, the people's dialogue, to ensure that the people themselves now talk about themselves, the issues they want, how they want their people to work, and when, if you hire, you're also supposed to be able to fire. Those things are supposed to be very clear. As we said in the matatu issue, we cheza na hiyo matatu ya mwenyewe uone. Utavutwa kazi kabla ufike Ngong.
Do you think it has, how the constitution has failed to help us in exercising the direct power that we have as a people? And how can that be solved? Is this what you're proposing, the People's Convention, People's Government? And how can we exercise this power directly? Because now there are people who want Ruto out and they do not know how to do it. Wengi wanasema, let's just march to State House.
Yeah, it's easy to say you march to State House, but this is not, as you say, this is not Burkina Faso. If it was Burkina Faso, mi singechukua karatasi. Ningevaa hizo manguo na tuanze kupelekana. Because there at least there's an acceptance that if you want to change the government, twende State House. Na State House ikifika, serikali inatoka mbio. But now in this country, we have never seen that situation. Every time we try to march, we get casualties. And it is very unfortunate that we are losing a lot of young people in this country. The last one, you talked about the 12-year-old, because sasa imekuwa ni vita between the people and the government, which is very unfortunate. And the people should be the ones on top. So we are saying that if we come to this convention, we are going to agree on the things we do. The people's government is going to be one of those things that allows us to always participate in everything that happens in government at every time. So it means that hakuna ile ati unatustua na kitu. Hakuna. And if you go against us, again, we are going to put in that constitution the people's government as a way to remove you. So when we talk about direct directly, acting directly, that is what you are going to put in place. So the people's government, they'll be there from the villages all the way, going to the national level. And when we have the people's government like that, there's going to be a requirement that if this number of people's government have agreed because of this reason to remove this government, then we can go to what we call the sovereign convention. Sovereign People's Convention, the one that my colleague was talking about.
Cyprian.
Cyprian.
I would like to know about the leaderlessness of the Gen Zs, because now it seems the opposition is what is taking center stage. Rigathi Gachagua is actually in the US. Matiang'i is here in Kenya, mobilizing. Do you think, how do we change from this system of elite politicians to Gen Zs who actually want change happening in the country? Is there a possibility for that? And do you see this loyal opposition as an avenue for change?
The opposition is very suspect. Let's start from this. After 25th, in fact 25th and after, there was somebody called Rigathi Gachagua who was the deputy president of this country. When the Gen Zs were shot, he was there. We remember a statement that he made. Ukikuja kwa barabara, usi expect askari wa kukis. He said
that was 2023.
Yeah, he said
before
it.
Gen Zs.
He said it. So when he talked like that, it applies to the Gen Zs because we went to the street. Kwani ilikuwa hiyo si street ama nini. So we can take it from there and know that he was there. So all through that time, until he was removed, he has always been supporting that regime. So if you look at the opposition, there is a problem there. So we are saying this, that the Gen Zs now need to organize themselves around something like this. This is going to be a people's convention is going to be a Gen Z convention. Let's say that. Because what we are talking about here is the numbers in this country. There was a time these young people were a small number and nobody cared about them. In 2022, 8 million people did not vote in that election. There was 3 formations in elections in 2022. There was Formation 1 called Kenya Kwanza, Formation 2 called Azimio, Formation 3 called the apathetic voters. And Formation 3 actually won. It's only that they were not participating in the race. Unajua umeshinda na wewe una it's like the cameraman who runs against anakimbiza ule 100 meter nini ule anaenda ku break record na yeye anakimbia na yeye mpaka ule jamaa anashindwa hii mambo gani bwana si jamaa ingia hapa. So that is what happened. 8 million people did not vote. 7.2 million people voted for Ruto. Okay, you can say whatever about those elections. 6.9 voted for Raila Odinga. It tells you that the numbers of people that out here that actually felt that there was no answer in that formation were many. And now that formation has formed itself like this. Rigathi Gachagua ametoka, amesonga hii kando ingine. Raila Odinga ametoka, amesonga hii kando ingine. They've just changed. Team ime change. Yes. But they are the same people who participated in 2022. They blocked the independent candidates in 2022. I don't know if you noticed that in elections 2022, we didn't have any independent candidate running for president. They blocked them. Because some of us were running as FreeKenya, we said that one of the problems we have is political parties. Because political parties in this country operate like companies. They are owned by someone. So if you try to go through them, it's always a problem. And I'm advising Gen Zs not to even think about those parties. Maybe you form yours, that's okay. But even when you form yours, the party's structure actually belongs to these people. They went to parliament and passed the Political Parties Act for themselves. Hao ndio wako kwa machama. So they just go and do a gentleman's, I don't know if there was gentlewoman, but whatever, gentle people agreement. And they pass whatever they want. So you have a situation where you register into those parties and you find that even registration is a problem, first of all. After maybe you succeeded in registering, there's always issues going on. Regulations are there. You can't do one thing, you can't do the other. You don't have money to do some of the things you want to do. So I would advise that the parties are a problem. And that's why this system, which operates on this opposition and the government, the regime, is actually a problem. The Gen Zs have an opportunity to open the route. And one of those things we are saying is even looking at the independent candidates. Because if you come as independent candidates, and I'm looking for a day when we are going to have independent candidates who are more than, who are the majority.
Compared to political parties.
Yeah, because that will be a good day for us, because it will mean now we are talking about something different. Unfortunately, people will start telling you that independent candidates ni kama wakina wale wako sahi. I'll tell you something. Those people are not independent candidates. Those people went through political parties, and when they failed in those political parties, they took a detour
to independent.
Hey. So hao sio independent. Hao ni wale wanaendesha gari inaenda independent lakini ni mkora. So we are having a situation here that's it's an opportunity for the young people. If you come, we can organize ourselves. In 2022, we organized as an independent movement, as FreeKenya independent movement. We even went to court. We have a case that we won against IBC, and they went and said they are doing an appeal. They gave a notice of appeal, and they got a stay for that notice. Now that stay has actually stopped that judgment from going in. That judgment is a very serious judgment on issues of independence. So we are pushing it in court of appeal. I think in the next, 1 month, we are going to have some direction on that. But we are saying that young people now need to come and restructure. And we restructure as independent candidates.
So you're thinking he's not in the opposition at all? Matiang'i and Maraga.
Matiang'i was here, we know him. Maraga, I would, yes and no, but I'm thinking that he should not be working with those people. If he works with those people, he's one of them. And that is one thing we need to understand. You can't get into this system, and we've seen people go into this, even parliament. Even Omtata is having very serious problems, because you can't even pass anything. The good thing is not compromising. But a lot of people go there, and then they begin to realize, hey, hapa itabidi nifanye na hawa watu, because there is no way I'm going.
Yeah, because it was a very difficult question for Martha Karua when she was asked about, I think, Rigathi Gachagua, Martha Karua, or Matiang'i. She couldn't answer that question.
We can talk about you based on your friends. So as long as you're working with them, you are one of them. And that's why you are saying we need to reach to a point and say, no. We have to ask ourselves, can we get new people, but new people with a new thinking?
Yeah.
Because again, if you don't have a new thinking, you're going to go back to the old wine.
Let me ask you this about justice. We've talked about the convention. We've talked about the referendum. We've seen a police officer actually charged for murder. Actually, several police officers. DIG Lagat, IPOA says investigations are still ongoing.
And he's gone back to office, I think.
And he's gone back to office. Let me ask you, what is your thinking about justice post all this conversation that we are having? Because some would say, let's sweep it under the rug because we do not want to open the worms of 207, the worms of Matiang'i. And others would say, we need justice for this family.
We need justice. Without justice, you don't have anything. The issue here must be this, that we must create that new thinking, new government, new regime, so that we can deal with the question of justice. Right now, there is nothing. This is just, hii ni ile mchezo ya kupigia nini gitaa, mbuzi gitaa, na kupaka umbwa rangi. This is something that you can't even imagine that can happen in any other serious country. You can't have a situation where you have been mentioned, even twice, just mentioned. Go to Japan and you're mentioned. The guy will go and kill himself. Go to Japan and you're mentioned. Utayapanda huko. Go to China. We'll shoot you. In this country, we have changed the way we are doing this. Remember when we started this constitution, there was a deputy chief justice who actually left office because of just something that happened between them and a security person.
Yes.
And she had to leave office.
Nancy Barasa.
Nancy Barasa. That is where we must put this level, this standard of engagement. This one that we are seeing here, in nonsense. And we are saying that some of the changes we want to do is actually making sure that those commissions are going to be real free. There is no independent commission in this country. Hakuna. Even the judiciary, wanaenda kufanya kitu wanaambiwa hii pesa yenu tutakata boss.
Yes.
So there is nothing like that. We have to make sure that they are actually free and independent. Some of the things we are proposing is them having their own, their own budget that comes when you do the budgeting. You give them their budget. The counties, you give them pesa yao. Si ati mambo ya kusema ati twende tukaongee sijui kwa after nini. Yeah. Unakata hiyo pesa au waende wakajibajetie huko.
Finally, what urgent changes would you want to see now? Some say it's time for a transitional government now. Even before we talk about everything, Ruto must go. Let's have a transitional government. Let it be the ones spearheading these initiatives that are there. What is your take finally? What urgent changes should we see?
The urgent change should be that we unify ourselves as a people. We come together and actually push this people's dialogue. Because if we talk about transition authority or government, it has to come with an acceptance from the regime. And that is not going to happen, I can assure you. This guy doesn't want to hear nonsense of that. He has not failed. He's doing very well. His affordable houses are working. She and Shah is working, and she and Shah and whoever is working. Everything for him is working. In fact, him is like, kwani mnapiga kelele
kwa nini? You're saying we don't know the numbers. We don't want to believe the numbers.
Yeah, it is unfortunate. When people are asking, even if you are doing well, we've seen leaders who have even moved aside even when they are doing well. People begin to realize, oh, kumbe tulimtoa na alikuwa anafanya kazi. That is how, as a leader, you have to accept. That if people are saying no, wewe wachana nayo, huko mbele watasema, by the way, this guy used to, alikuwa anafanya kazi, hebu tumrudishe. So the reality of the fact is that it is the young people who should have this dialogue. It is the young people who should come together. It is the young people, PWDs and women. And when I say women, wachana na wale nominated na nini. Women, wachana na hao wengine. Yeah. So those are the people that need to come together and organize this country going forward.
Thanks for tuning in to that conversation. It's the Secretary General of Free Kenya Movement, Nicholas Oyoo, saying what he sees must happen and must happen now so that Kenya can be actually liberated and transformed.
Can we give our, maybe for people who want to participate in the Free Kenya movement, we have our website, www.freekenya.co.ke. You can also call me directly. Our numbers are there. Maybe I can even say it.
Just say your number. Your number is
0722 95 4770. I repeat that.
It's 07
22 95 47 70.
70.
Yeah.
All right. Thanks for tuning in to that conversation. You can check them out at FreeKenya signatures.com or freekenyamovement.co.ke, at FreeKenya M, Facebook Free Kenya Movement, saying people power is higher power. That's what it means.
So people power, higher power.
Thanks for tuning in. Goodbye for now.